Carroll bringing it forward. Thompson's making the run. Carroll hangs on to it though. Still Davy Carroll. Could go all the way here. Oh, what a goal!
Hello, I'm Phil Catchpole and welcome to Ringing the Blues. On this week's show we have all the action and reaction from the game against bottom of the table Sheffield Wednesday. Plus I talk to Birmingham City fan and EFL pundit Gabriel Sutton about the upcoming trip to St Andrews and also the Championship in general after 9 games. But first, let's head to Mexico City for the results with Uri.
We are ringing the blues from Mexico City. My name is Uri, and we are making history as we celebrate the Blues' first victory in the Championship League. Here are the results. Bristol City 1, Norwich City 3, Barnsley 1, Watford 0, Bournemouth 1, Derby County 1, Luton Town 0, Brentford 3, Middlesbrough 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Millwall 0, Huddersfield Town 3, Preston North End 1, Birmingham City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 3, Cardiff City 2, Stoke City 1, Rotherham United 0, Swansea City 2, Blackburn Rovers 0, and finally, Wycombe Wanderers 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. This is history. Go Blues! And, well, as for Cherboy's Spanish this week, okay, so it's very easy. Just take care of each other, as the UK has just announced it will be going back into lockdown on Thursday. So, to care, cuidarse, take care, cuídate, each other, each, cada uno, other, el otro. Take care of each other. Cuídense los unos de los otros, or simply, cuídense. Take care, UK. Back to the Ringing the Blues studios with my amigo Phil Catchpole. See you next week.
Sheffield Wednesday flew into town desperate for a win on the back of 3 successive defeats in the Championship. Wycombe were 1 place above them in the table, which added a bit more spice to this one, and Gareth Ainsworth was missing due to recovering from an operation on a back injury, so Richard Dobson was in charge. Here's what happened.
We're here to fight and we're here to compete in this Championship. We're not here to make the numbers up. Wycombe are different, yeah, of course we are. But we are here to stay in this Championship, and if we keep playing like that, there'll be no chance we'll go down. That's a brilliant performance. I've had some fantastic takes off some real good managers backing me, saying keep going, keep doing what you believe in, because Wycombe are a good side.
In it comes, Wheeler again, flicks on, yes! David Wheeler with his first of the season, Joe Jacobson from the corner, it's a familiar routine, and Wheeler celebrates, and Wycombe have the lead at the death of the first half. Wycombe 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0.
First win, we built on the Tuesday night's game. We were very unfortunate, I think, against Reading and against Norwich not to pick anything up. And as I said, we're growing as a group, we're growing as a team, as a staff, and we're excited by this challenge of being in the Championship. Now, we're starting to prove that we deserve to be here, and we've taken Watford all the way the other night, a very good Norwich side that I watched today against Bristol City. They were very fortunate to beat us on the day. So I think we're certainly learning, we're certainly growing and heading in the right direction as a club.
How difficult has it been, like those first defeats, to keep the spirit of the squad up? Because today it was spirit that got you over the line.
Yeah, do you know what? It's not about spirit, it was anger. The boys were angry and they wanted to put something right. We've had a lot of big game-changing decisions go against us, which has kind of fueled the fire a little bit, because the boys feel that it's been unjust, which I agree with. It's been very tough to take some of these big decisions. but it's added to the spirit. It's the boys feel that they've been hard done by and that they deserve to be on 6, 7, 8 points. And now we're up and running, you know. So 4 points on the board this week, and now we can look forward to Birmingham midweek.
No Gareth today. He's had a back operation. Have you been able to speak to him throughout?
Yeah, so not so much during the game. He kind of said to me, look, you're in charge during the game, and you know, I don't want to be phoning you every 5 minutes, but I think he spoke to Josh, our analyst, up in the stand at half-time, and Josh relayed that message to me, which was nice because it was exactly the same as I was seeing in the first half. So, you know, we had to make early changes because legs, you know, some of them were running on empty. If I could have made 6 substitutions of that, I probably would have done, but you know, the boys got through it really well, and I'm delighted for them.
Have you spoken to Gaz since the full-time whistle?
Yeah, he was the first phone call, and we've got a very happy guy in hospital at the moment, so hopefully it's brightened him up a little bit. But he was over the moon, and as I said, you know, we're in it for each other. We're a very, very tight-knit group, whether it's staff, players, or the whole group as a you know, one whole group, and you know, it's tough to see him in pain as he has been over the last week. You never want to see anybody in that type of pain, and I'm just glad that he's on the road to recovery now, and we've been able to bring a smile to his face.
You've had a development day this week as well. Tell us the impact that's had on today's performance and result.
It's just cementing our culture, and obviously for the new lads, that's important for them to understand what they've come into. So we did a couple of classroom sessions, working on various aspects of discovery and resolution, and we also worked on the practical aspects of it. So we had some things going on in the gym, some problem-solving sessions that the boys had to do, and it was really interesting to watch how they engaged with it. I mean, they were terrific, and they like these days anyway, but it just adds to the person, you know, rather than the player. It adds to the person and develops the person, and I think if you've got a group of good people, then we'll have good players to follow, and our boys are a terrific group of people.
The spirit and the belief has been there throughout. 4 points in a week. What sort of shape will you go into the Birmingham game now? The anger must have gone.
No, I still think that there's going to be that fire in their bellies. You know, I wouldn't expect anything less. So what they're going to get on Wednesday at Birmingham is a more confident Wycombe now. You know, it's that millstone of the first win has gone. It's not hanging around our neck anymore, and hopefully, you know, we'll grow as a group again. We'll learn from this experience today, because we learn from every occasion, and you know, it's not a question of patting ourselves on the back and job done. I said to the boys in the dressing room afterwards, mindset firmly on Wednesday now. Let's go and do it again.
David, an historic header, Wycombe's first win in the Championship, and you were the man that got the goal. How do you feel?
Yeah, obviously great. Yeah, but you know, the last half an hour was an incredible defensive performance from the whole team. Like, you know, Sheffield Wednesday had most of the ball for the latter part of the game, but you know, we did what we did so well last season and dug in and worked hard for each other, and that paid off.
Joe Jacobson's not had much success curling them in direct from corners, so have you been working on that in training this week? I saw you had a similar move in the first half not long before you scored. Yeah,
well, it seems you can't go anywhere near the keeper these days, so yeah, like, you know, it's about time someone else scored from a corner than JJ. So yeah, no, it was I think I've made that run regularly, and you know, we've worked on a lot of set pieces, and yeah, just chuffed it paid off.
Describe the feeling in the dressing room after the game.
Yeah, just like, you know, a mixture of like relief and elation. Obviously, I think it has been coming. The gaffer's been saying to us, it's coming, and I think it's been coming for two or three weeks now. It just, things haven't quite gone our way, and yeah, just really happy it has today.
I was speaking to Dobbo a few minutes ago. He said it was the anger in the squad that was the overriding emotion following the games recently of not getting the points he felt that you deserved. Yeah.
I think the effort that we've put in, like in, you know, definitely the last 3 or 4 games, like, we've deserved more than we've got. So yeah, I'm really pleased that we finally got over the line today.
It's very strange not seeing Gareth Ainsworth on the touchline. How is it on the pitch when you look across?
Yeah, obviously we miss the gaffer. The gaffer gives us like a lot of energy, and he's like so positive, and you know, his team talks always give us a lift. So yeah, we miss the gaffer, and hope he gets back soon.
Big game on Wednesday night now. They're all big games in the Championship, but you can take some confidence now into that.
Yeah, I think we have been confident the last few games. I think the performances give you confidence, and I think the confidence has been there. It's just, just been the odd thing that hasn't gone our way, and that's it really.
And psychologically, that first 3 points, is that an announcement now to the Championship that we're not just here to make up the numbers?
Yeah, we never have been. Like that's definitely not the case for us. Like we're competitive and we want to win. We want to win every game. So yeah, it's definitely not the case, and we'll keep trying to defy the odds.
The football world has always written Wycombe off. They did it in League Two and League One and the Championship as well. Does it continue to drive the squad on, or is it sort of water off a duck's back now?
Yeah, keep doing it. Yeah, love it.
Sheffield Wednesday slumped to their 4th consecutive defeat in the Championship, and the pressure continues to build on their manager, Gary Monk. The Owls fans weren't too happy after the game. Here's what they had to say. Andy W.
So, the downfall is complete. A 1-0 loss to Wycombe. Where do we go from here, people?
Miffed.
Wycombe's first ever Championship win. Wycombe's first ever win against Wednesday. Wycombe's first clean sheet of the season. All this hot on the heels of Rotherham's biggest ever win over us. We're breaking all the wrong records yet again.
MK Owl.
I think it's fair to say the circle has fully turned. 8 years ago, a game against Wycombe felt like it was the end of a decline. Now, 8 years later, the club is in even worse position. There isn't one redeeming thing on or off the pitch. Our only hope is Boris might say football is non-essential.
King Mong.
Monk is done. Worst manager in my lifetime. Won't ever manage again. That's how bad he is. If the owner is remotely interested in this club, he's sacking him tonight. If he stays in charge, the owner is accepting League One football, anger from the fans and loss of revenue. It's up to the owner to end his career tonight.
Owler IT.
Did you see Monk tapping up Akinfenwa at the final whistle? January signing? He'll probably play him as a wing-back.
Northerner.
Wycombe didn't even have a manager there. Maybe we should try that for the next game.
Johnny Owl.
Wycombe were truly awful. And we didn't even test their goalkeeper. Both teams will be in League One next season.
Albie Owl.
Congratulations to Wycombe. Take nothing away from them. As pants as we are, that's a great result for a club I've always had a soft spot for.
Tom Griffiths.
Well done, Wycombe. They have completely the opposite setup to us. A competent manager, a great team spirit, and a lot more optimism for the season ahead.
Richard Walsh, 21.
Get Big Sam in.
Right, on the line now is EFL pundit and Birmingham City fan, Gabriel Sutton. Gabriel, how are you, mate?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks, Phil. How you been keeping?
Very well indeed. Obviously, tough times, but football is a very welcome distraction at the moment, and Wycombe fans certainly buzzing after their first Championship victory against Sheffield Wednesday. But next up is Birmingham City at St Andrews, a big famous club ensconced in mid-table, 2 wins on the spin. This could be a tough game for Wycombe. What do you reckon?
Well, I think that's the first time Birmingham have been called a famous club by someone outside Blues. But no, I think I think it could be a tough game for Wycombe. I think from Blues' point of view, we've only lost 2 games so far this season to Sheffield Wednesday and Norwich. Come into this one, of course, off the back of successive victories. And what's interesting to me, I'm sure you've discussed on the Singing the Blues podcast, that Wycombe named an unchanged 11 for the game against Sheffield Wednesday. Well, Isaac Karanka made 5 changes for the trip to Preston North End, so he's felt he's able to rotate the squad, whereas your lot felt like you've kind of had to take that chance to build on some sort of winning formula after that fantastic performance against Watford. So, I do think it's going to be a tough game, and Blues have been really defensively organised so far.
Yeah, Isaac Karanka is sort of quite famously sort of builds on the defence and can be a bit conservative as a manager. And looking at how Wycombe have taken teams on this season, Watford sat very deep and defended and tried to counter. Do you think that may suit Wycombe? And is that how Karanka is setting Birmingham up?
Yeah, so we've been very solid. We've kind of ground out that 1-0 win against Brentford on the opening day of the season. After the lockdown last season, when the Championship carried on, Blues absolutely leaked goals. And so I think that's been kind of the first priority for Karanka to kind of tighten things up, as well as it being one of the things he likes to do generally as a manager. But I think what we've seen is we've kind of had some good partnerships. So we've had somebody like Adam Clayton who can kind of hold the discipline in that midfield next to somebody more tenacious in Ivan Sunjic. And then it's a similar situation at centre-back where you've got George Friend, who's a very intelligent defender, partnered by a very aggressive centre-back in Harley Dean. So we've got some good partnerships across the pitch, but Karanka's not been afraid to change formation quite a bit this season, and that's evidenced by the changes he made at North End. So it's not exactly easy to read what sort of starting 11 it'll be, but you know that whichever 11 Karanka puts out, they're not going to give much away.
So formation sounds tricky to predict, but in terms of the danger men and the ones to watch out for Wycombe Wanderers, who are the players that may well do the damage for Birmingham?
Well, Lukas Djukovic and Jonathan Leko made a big impact from the bench in the 2-1 win over Huddersfield the previous Tuesday, or was it Wednesday possibly? And they were actually handed starts at Deepdale, and Djukovic has been probably one of the best target men in the Championship quite a while now. I mean, obviously he's got a rival now in Adebayor Akinfenwa, of course. But yeah, he's a fantastic reference point. He's not got too much pace, so I think Karanka's looking to kind of manage him efficiently this season, maybe manage his minutes a little bit as well. But certainly in the right sort of setup, he can be a real danger. And in that 18-19 season, he was partnered by Kay Adams, who was a very quick striker who loves to run in behind. And although Jonathan Leko doesn't have Adams' proven goal scoring now, he is also very quick. So that partnership between Djukovic and Leko, I suppose, think of it as a kind of a bit like Akinfenwa and Kashke in a sense. That's the route Birmingham are looking to go down.
Out wide has issues for Wycombe, certainly on the left-hand side in the earlier parts of the Championship games. They're certainly looking a lot more solid of late, Wycombe, but have Birmingham got any sort of pace merchants out wide?
In terms of pace merchants, I'm not sure. When we've played Ivan Sanchez down the right, he's tended to kind of drift infield because he's left-footed, but actually in the last couple of games, he's been handed more of a central role. We had Josh Daka as Cogley, who hasn't really played much for Blues over the last 2 or 3 years. He was handed a rare start at Deepdale last time out as a right wing-back with which is a bit of a surprise, but maybe Maxime Collin we need to be careful with him. I'm a massive fan of Maxime Collin, but I wouldn't describe him as a direct wing back. I think he's more intelligent, so he would look for that combination play with Ivan Sanchez. So I wouldn't say we've got someone who could take on Joe Jacobson man for man, unless Jeremy Player plays on the right, but Karanka tends to like him kind of coming onto his right foot from the left side. So I think Karanka, if he does play with wide players, he'll play with inverted wide players. So I don't think there's anyone who's going to attack Joe Jacobson directly.
And what do you reckon the score will be on Wednesday? It's going to be a tough one to call, I think.
The score? Tough one. I mean, I think this isn't the sort of time I would like to play Wycombe because you produced a fantastic performance against Watford on Tuesday, and I thought you were the better team in that one, of course. Joe Jacobson's corners did get you that success via David Wheeler, of course, against Sheffield Wednesday. And I feel like in the last 4 performances from Wycombe, there's been lots of positives. So I certainly wouldn't be taking Wanderers lightly. Hopefully, Blues might be able to nick a 1-0 victory. That would be optimistic, but I certainly think Wycombe will give a good go of it.
And Birmingham City then, as a whole, here we are 9 games into the Championship season, a change of manager coming into it as well. What were your expectations for the club this season, and what would you be happy with?
I would certainly be happy with the continuation of what we've seen so far. I think for Blues, since we've come into the Championship in 2011, we've had far more relegation fights than we've had sort of sniffs of the playoffs. So I think the first step for Blues is basically to stabilise. It's actually been very rare for Blues to have a good manager and a decent budget simultaneously. We've either had managers like Chris Hughton, Gary Rowett, Gary Monk, who have managed their teams well, but haven't really been able to take us on to the next level because they haven't had the investment. And then we've had managers like Gianfranco Zola, Harry Redknapp, possibly even Steve Cottrell to an extent, where they've had lots of expensive squads, but they haven't been able to get the best out of them. So I think hopefully we've got a reasonable amount of money now. We're able to sign Ivan Sundic, summer before last, with Croatia's under-21 captain. So that shows Ivan Sanchez as well, quite a good player. Mikel San Jose is a very experienced player. I think he played for Spain and got 15 years of experience under his belt. So I think we're able to shop in a decent market now, and we've got a manager in Karanka who's won promotion before. So that mix seems encouraging for Blues, but I'd be happy with a really solid season around the mid-table mark, and it looks like that's what we're getting at the moment, and we're sitting 11th after 9 games, so I think that's a pretty positive start, I'd have to say.
There we are then. So with your sort of EFL pundit hats on now then, looking at the Championship as a whole, can Wycombe stay up? I mean, everyone wrote them off before the season, which is understandable because of the budget, but 9 games in, do you think they can make a go of it?
Yeah, I think they can make a go of it, of course. I mean, people have been writing Wycombe off, but actually, you're only 2 points off 21st. So, I mean, if you could win on Wednesday night, then it's mathematically possible that you could be out of the relegation zone. So, I think it would be very foolish to write Wycombe off at the moment. I mean, just that performance against Watford was just massive for me. I think, to be fair, there were a couple of games before that at Reading where you probably had the better chances. I'm sure there was another game similar to that around that time where you didn't quite get the rub of the green. I suppose Millwall as well was one where the refereeing decisions didn't quite go for you. But I think, the performances have really picked up, perhaps more than a kind of a casual Championship fan would really recognise. They'd kind of see, Wycombe Wanderers in the Championship, not very many points, at least at 4 points from 9 games, and think, oh, they'll go down. But I think recent performances certainly give you a lot of hope. So it's still, a massive ask to stay up because you're fighting with teams with budgets that are, much, much bigger than your own. But at the same time, you've got a unique spirit about yourself that Gareth Ainsworth has cultivated. And I'd like to wish, as a side note, Ainsworth a speedy recovery. It's great that his players were able to give him that first win in the Championship while he would have to be in hospital. Shame he couldn't be there for that. But hopefully he has a speedy recovery, and certainly we can look to have put in some pretty competitive performances lately. So, I'd be optimistic that maybe you can start to put a little bit of a run together.
Well, that's good to hear. So looking at the table as well, and I think we did this going into the season, a kind of sort of making a mini league out of teams in the Championship that we thought that we might be down there with in a relegation battle. Derby County and Nottingham Forest weren't in that group, and you would have to assume they would pull away from the bottom of the table and things would probably settle down. Who are the sort of 6 or 7 teams you think will be battling for Wycombe and, I have to say, Sheffield Wednesday?
In terms of the relegation battle, Sheffield Wednesday, obviously, you're now 8 points ahead of them after that win on Saturday, so certainly you'd have to categorise them as a relegation rival. Coventry, they got an important win on Friday night, but I still think that they've had maybe more issues kind of getting their style of play to translate into the Championship. I think with Wycombe, you kind of played like underdogs in League One to an extent, with quite a direct style of football, and maybe that can have its advantages. Whereas Coventry, because they're used to having this kind of 3-4-2-1 system, they had to change it a little bit, and they've kind of got to rejig their approach a little bit, so that could be a disadvantage for them. Rotherham, of course, their last couple of away performances have been really disappointing by all accounts, and maybe you could argue QPR could be in that mix as well. I think Barnsley will pull away, but Luton had a good start, but they've started to drop a little bit. So I would say Sheffield Wednesday, Coventry, Rotherham, possibly QPR and Luton are the teams that Wycombe can realistically.
Right, that's good to hear. Gab, thank you so much for your time today. Where can people find you online and stuff? Because you put loads of fantastic content, not just about the Championship, but about Leagues 1 and 2 as well. Where can people find you?
Yes, Phil. Yeah, you can follow me at _Football Lab, or just search Gabriel Sutton on Twitter and you'll be able to find me. But thanks for having me on, and good luck to the Cowboys.
Right, that's your lot for this week. Many thanks to Richard Dobson, David Wheeler and Gabriel Sutton. Full match commentary of Wycombe's trip to St Andrews to take on Birmingham City will be on BBC Three Counties on the 98 FM frequency and on iFollow with me and Brian Jeeves. So take care of each other and get well soon, Gareth. Another 3 points is just round the corner. Come on, you Blues.